Now, a few days to go before the close of the entries for the country's first fashion awards with a purpose. Recently, the Twig Sustainable Fashion Awards revealed their judges for this year. For some insight into what they're looking for in the entries and what they've achieved in the past 2 years, I'm now joined by the founder and the editor of the awards, Jackie May. Jackie, a very good morning to you, and maybe just to give us a sense of what exactly the Sustainable Fashion Awards are all about.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me. The awards are really to celebrate and focus on designers who are slow fashion designers and who are using sustainable and regenerative design and circular design practices in their work. And that can mean several things. It doesn't have to mean everything. So people who use fabrics that are regenerative or that are sustainable, organic cotton, hemp, dead stock, they're upcycling old fabric or old clothes. Fabric is always quite difficult to get hold of in South Africa for designers who are looking for particular materials. And then designers who are creating really good quality clothes that we can buy and that will keep for seasons and seasons and seasons. It's very important that we reduce our consumption and that when we do consume, we consume responsibly. And we're very, very keen to make sure that people with disposable income are spending their money on local product, because that's very important.
Yeah, and I think that's very important that designers have taken this route, because the assumption is that consumers over the last few years have become very conscious about what they consume, what they eat. So this is an opportune time for designers who are operating in the sustainable space take up and obviously offer consumers something that they can consume without feeling guilty about anything.
Exactly. And also, we have so many wonderful, wonderful designers in the country, and we just want to put a spotlight on them, and also for the ones that are lesser known. I mean, we have the most incredible designers who are doing really well internationally. We have Lukanyo Madingi, we have Sindiso Khumalo, everybody knows Tebe Magugu, and Rich Manisi are just creating waves across the globe. And there are lots more that we don't really know of and speak about as much as those four. And we just want to make it sure that everybody knows this amazing ecosystem of fashion designers that we do have. And this year we've included not only fashion designers, but also textile makers and mills and CMT and manufacturers, to ensure that we kind of celebrate the entire value chain of designers and fashion makers and clothes and textiles in the clothes and textiles industry.
Right. Now, what is it that you're looking for from the designers? You've spoken about the fact that they need to be using sustainable products, authentic or organic products. But what else are you looking for in this year's competition?
As I said, it's quality and slow fashion. We've got innovation and innovative materials and innovative design. That's really important. So looking at ways that you reduce your use of material or reduce your wastage. So that's called zero waste pattern cutting. Some designers are fantastic with that. And also, what do they do with their waste? How do they make sure they're not throwing textiles into the landfill? Do they reuse it? Do they repurpose it? Do they give it to an organization that can make toys out of it, for instance? We're also looking at, I think recycling and upcycling is a big part of what we're seeing from the nominations. And also clothes that can be worn across seasons. So can you wear a garment in winter and summer by taking something, using it in different ways? That's very important, so that people aren't, we have got into such a terrible habit with fast fashion to buy new clothes for every event. But some designers have become incredibly innovative in the way that they will design something that you can sort of change up and wear in different ways. We're very interested in what students are doing, because students, as you know, they've got the freedom to be completely experimental and wild. And they come up with fantastic ideas. We've had designers like Katakana Mareko from he was at the Durban University of Technology, where he designed things out of waste that he found in in Daspens around where he was staying and around the college that he was studying at, and he created the most incredible collection with a wonderful story as well. We're also very interested in the story behind the collection. What story are you telling about your community or your culture? I think that cultural sustainability is also really important in the future of fashion.
Yeah, finally, and very briefly, Jackie, because I think we've run out of time, but I have to ask you about global trends. So we are seeing that change is happening in the country with the promotion of designers of this kind. But what are we seeing globally? Is this the direction generally that the world is taking?
Yes, on the surface, I'll say that. On the surface, yes. We're seeing so much in the media about slow and sustainable fashion, but the sad truth is that we're still overproducing clothes. We're still wasting a lot of clothes. A lot is still going to landfill. A lot of it's being packaged and being sent to countries like Ghana, where it's polluting the ocean. And I mean, we've seen those reports of the terrible, terrible pollution that clothes from the global north are causing. And then we're also seeing fast fashion companies still growing at a rate, at an incredible rate. So it's a bit concerning that even though there's so much information about the dangers of fast fashion and of fashion itself, that we're not slowing it down. We're not taking the right precautions and introducing circular practices, design practices as quickly as we should, because we have a climate crisis and we need to really address these issues as fast and as quickly as possible.
Very interesting insights there from Jackie May, who's the founder and editor of Twig Sustainable Fashion Awards. Do stay with the South African Morning.